on my feet, stomping out the negativity. Everybody not a friend of me, spread the love, still I move deliberately. Brave face on, but the smile be heavenly. Brooklyn girls, so they love the energy, love sincerity. So I take the liberty to take them on a journey lyrically, through hallways and alleys. Dark
Thank you guys and welcome to another episode of The Next Chapter. I am one of your hosts, Kitty Rose, Minister Cat, aka Kitty Rose, and I'm joined by my co-host, Miss
Melissa D.
Hey.
So nice to see you.
And you guys are entering the next chapter where we discuss shades of gray. Welcome, 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 welcome. How are you, my love? How are you this week?
Great. I feel like we're both like dressed like very animalistic dominatrix for this week's topic.
And this week's topic, girl, oh, chat. We might be telling on ourselves a little bit, but we're gonna try to keep it clean. This week's topic of the week is a serious one. I know I say that every week, but this is really serious. This week's topic of the week is bareback sex.
Where does that even come from?
When I was Googling information on YouTube videos to try to incorporate this idea of promiscuous behavior, because that's really what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about promiscuous behavior, but I didn't want to sound like such a prude about promiscuous behavior, because I think that sexual freedom, sexual liberation is go ahead, do what you want. Jehovah God gives us all the freedom to decide how we want to live our lives. However, I found it disturbing that in promiscuous behavior, that people in 2022 was still having unprotected sex. So that's where the bareback sex comes from. Because in this day and age, now I understand that, AIDS might be not the big scare anymore, but I'm still surprised about how many men and women are sexually active in 2022 and are having sex without protection.
I would say yes. I think that the number is pretty high. I taught sex education when I was a school social worker for many years, and I think that kids grow up now thinking that they don't need protection because you and I, lived through the AIDS crisis. So we are like, yes, this is something that we need. We need to have condoms. We need to have protection. But I think the younger generations haven't had that experience. So it's been more difficult for them to have that concept. But I also think it has to do with access to pornography. Most pornography does not show, people being protected against sexually transmitted diseases and infection. So I think that has a lot to do with it too. Back in when we were younger, to see people have sex, you'd have to find that VHS tape out in like your uncle's garage or the Playboy out in the woods. For some reason, they were always out in the woods. But now people have this access to what sex is supposed to look like by pornography. And I think that has a role that plays into it as well.
So you mentioned the younger generation, and okay, possibly, more than likely, but I was really interested in the age group that is ours. Last year, I was involved in a relationship that I thought was monogamous, but I come to find out that, the brother that I was with was cheating on me. And my biggest issue wasn't simply that he was cheating on me, but that he was having sex with me and other women or the other woman unprotected. And that bothered me more than the actual idea that he was cheating on me. And then I met another man, who was in his almost 60, who been in very sexual relationships throughout his whole life, and if he could count on his hand how many times he used a condom in his 60-something years of having sex, he could count on one hand. So that was what was amazing to me, that this dilemma or this issue that I was personally having about bare butt sex wasn't really a young person's problem or a younger generation, issue. It was something that 40-something-year-olds was doing. And that's really what was shocking me more than anything. And then you also talked about what porn doesn't show or what porn does show. And I know when I look at porn, it's so weird. I'm looking to see if they're putting a condom on. And then when I see a porn where they put a condom on, I'm like, well, isn't that awkward? You know, they took the time out to fucking put a condom on. And I actually think porn is weird anyway, because they don't ever really look happy. The girl always look like it's rough more than pleasurable, but I digress. But I understand the point of you making, because I rarely see porn with a condom. It's more porn without. So is there a reason you thinking that we're in this society where people are not wanting to use condoms, whether they are of the older generation or the younger generation? Is there something that purposely is being done to put us all in danger? Because it seems that no one is thinking about the danger anymore. When I looked at when I was looking up videos to use, right, you know, I was looking at both perspectives, both men who didn't want to use condoms and both women who didn't want to use condoms. And as I was looking for these videos, you know, it made no sense to really give the male perspective, because we as women can only really talk about how we feel when it comes to that subject, because we're still ultimately, they say, in control. You know, they say that we're in control. However, if we're in control, but we're in a situation, how many times have we been in a situation where he said, let me just put the tip in? Let me just put the tip in.
And you know, I've had an experience where I thought my partner had put a condom on
and
hadn't. You know, because I had to say, like, I don't know everything, like, detail that's going on down there. Like, I know, hey, this feels good, but I don't know always, like, the specifics. But, you know, when I found out, like, whoa, you know, we stopped. But, and it was not because he didn't have any. It was because he just didn't want to use it.
He didn't want to use it. And did he give you a reason? Okay, and that reason that they don't want to use it, it feels better. And the thing is, like, I hate when I hear that, because to me, if you don't know how to bust me down with a condom, then is it really on me or on you that's not doing it right? Because I have had some awesome sex with condoms on. What about you?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And I've busted a nut with a condom. Have you busted a nut with a condom? I've busted a nut with a condom.
Yes.
So it doesn't stop us from having orgasms.
No.
You know what? Let's take it to the streets. Let's see what some other folks had to say in regards to whether or not they wanted to use condoms or no condoms. Can we pull that video up? Can we play that video?
It's easier with a condom at the very end. Start without and then put one on at the end. Gives us less mess.
So start without a condom.
Yeah.
So hit it raw for the first 30 minutes. Yeah. When he's about to nut, put a condom on to clean up the mess.
Put one on and he'll last longer as well. And then you get to finish, and then he can finish too in a clean way. It's nice. Like, both ways is nice.
You don't like a mess?
If it's intentional, if it's like on my chest or on my back or something. That.
What about on your face? Is that okay?
I haven't done that.
Without, to be honest.
Without, that's how I ended up with a baby.
Protection's good, but without.
Without?
Why?
Because it feels way better.
I'm a virgin.
Me too. No, seriously though, sex with or without condoms?
Without.
Why?
Feels better?
Feels better. Are you worried about getting pregnant?
No.
Why?
I have other protection.
Oh, well, without.
Why?
Because it's like natural.
Exactly, it's natural, right?
Yeah.
Intentional mess.
I know, that woman was really concerned about the mess part of it.
So she said start with it, she said start without it, and then as he's about to buzz, then put the condom on. But how does that work? You know, wait, don't come yet. Put a condom on. How does that? And then wait, intentional mess. So wait, on my titties, but not on my face. You know what I'm saying? Or on my face, but not on my titties. Like, wait, what? And they say it's a moisturizer for your face. So I actually be telling my beau, come on my face, clear up some of these spots. But however, you know what I'm saying? What did you think of the response? Because at first it sounds like young women, but the chick about the intentional mess, she looked like she was about our age.
You think so? I thought she was a little bit younger.
She wasn't in her 20s.
No, probably not her 20s.
Okay, but so you got the majority of the women saying don't use. You definitely have some that says, with a partner that they're with, you know what I'm saying, for, after a certain amount of time. What these women are talking about, just period, having sex, having someone on the street ask you a question, condom or no condom, and they freely feeling comfortable enough to say no condom. Not even like a blur around their face or I don't want to say, no condom. It makes it easier. No condom. Like, no shyness at all.
But it was interesting that he asked, aren't you worried about pregnancy? I thought that was interesting. Like, he was like, pregnancy, but not about disease.
Well, that's the funny thing about pregnancy is because that's something similar to one of our other shows when we was talking about Roe v. Wade. How sometimes people assume that abortion is a way out. So maybe they feel like, well, they have the Plan B pill. Then if they do get pregnant, they have an out where I guess it makes it easier to make a decision to have unprotected sex because you have a way out if pregnancy does come onto the case. Because I'm going to tell you my quick little story. I had when I got pregnant by my oldest son's father, I am 20 years old. I had sex with a 26-year-old. I had sex with a man my age, 19. And the 19-year-old and the 26-year-old, I had unprotected sex with them. I was in committed relationships. And they had never came inside me. So I had never knew what that felt like. I come and meet this man. The first time I have sex with him, I'm 20, he's 30, going through a divorce, already got a kid. So I'm not thinking that, okay, me and him have sex, that, he's going to come inside me. But for whatever reason, I don't use protection. And the first time we have sex, I get pregnant.
Wow.
And so when they say that it happens just like that, I'm an example that it happens just like that. I only had sex with him one other time, and then that was it. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't even somebody that I was in a committed relationship with. It wasn't someone that I was seeing a life with. It wasn't someone who was my man. And yet, I am now connected to this motherfucker for the next every part of my life. On that note, let's go to our PSAs.
How prepared is your family if disaster shows up at your doorstep? You can't just turn away a natural disaster. That's why it's important to go to ready.gov/plan before they show up. It has the tools and tips you need to make an emergency plan with your family. So if disaster comes knocking,
let's go.
You'll be ready to help keep your family safe.
It's just a pizza.
Yes!
Make a plan today.
Every day,
millions of people are connecting.
And even though we're overcoming obstacles,
watching each other's backs,
and banding together,
we should still make an effort.
To get to know each other
on a deeper level.
Father,
cosplayer,
mentor,
actor.
It's time we take a step forward.
Come together
and discover
how accepting our differences
can make us stronger.
And that's the part that people forget. People think it's so simple because it's one act, but this one act, and I didn't mean to call him a motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Like my oldest, but a motherfucker because my oldest son is 26 years old. Can I tell you the last time I had a conversation where I even said hello to my son's biological father? Ask me how old, or ask me how many years ago was that?
When the kid turned 18?
When Isaiah turned 16, I haven't spoken to his biological father in 10 years. So yeah, so are we friends? No. Are we enemies? No. But it's weird to live in a world where we have a child together, but we don't have any relationship at all with this child that we have that we brought into the world together. So yeah, we had a video where he mentioned, I think, to 2 people about pregnancy. You know what I'm saying? So maybe that's something that women or men don't think about. But when you have an example, it makes me almost want to cry. Because not only is it a disservice to us, but it's a disservice to my son. So we think about just our own liberties, our own freedoms, how things just affect us. Well, it's my life, it's my body. But what happens when we have children and our actions now affects them? Or what happens with diseases that affect not only us, but like I dealt with 2 men in my adult life who I was in committed relationships with who both had herpes. Now, I didn't get it. But that means every person that I now get into a relationship with, I have to give them the heads up that, you know what I'm saying, 2 relationships that I was in, both of those men, which almost made me think that there was a conspiracy theory going on, because I was amazed that I met 4 black men in their 50s that all had herpes. So that made me think, like, was something going on in the government in the 70s and 80s that gave our black men fucking diseases like they did syphilis and polio?
I wouldn't doubt it.
You know what I'm saying? So those are the other components. It's just like there's other elements that are involved to this free behavior that we have. You know what I'm saying? We have this idea that, yes, we can live in this society and do whatever and deal with the consequences, but the consequences are not always ours. Sometimes the consequences affect others. And I think that that's what people forget.
So tell me, how do you have these conversations with people? I know, like, you know, if I'm with somebody and I'm like, oh, do you have protection? And they just like flick the condom at me like it's my job to, you know, put their armor on. At that point, I'm just like, well, this isn't fucking sexy at all. So how do we have these conversations? Like, you know, I'm in a committed relationship only with you. Well, at that point, it's like we have to back up a second and be like, oh, we're in a committed relationship? Like, is that where we're at in this point in time? Like, it feels like there's certain steps and certain ways that you have to have these conversations that like,
But then what if you're not in a committed relationship and just want to be safe? You know what I'm saying? Do you have to be in a committed relationship to still be safe? Because what if you're just a promiscuous person and likes fucking? So if you're like having a bunch of sex, is it still a matter of protecting yourself or still feeling free that you could just have this free sex without any consequences to yourself or your partner? Let's see what this second video that I dug up. Let's see what they had to say, and then we'll come back and get some feedback more from us.
Does it feel better?
Yes.
Can you notice a difference?
Yeah.
A lot of difference from a female?
Yes.
Yes?
Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes.
No, I never done.
No? It feels better without?
Yep. Yeah.
Have you tried it both ways a lot?
Yes.
How much different is it for a girl?
A lot different.
What do you think of this?
None, but you gotta be in love and trust them.
Yeah, like if I'm talking about disease-free, and
Yeah.
it does feel better as a female.
Yeah. Condoms all the way.
Condoms?
Yeah.
Does it feel better? Like go away from like the disease side. Like what feels better?
I honestly haven't done it without a condom because I'm very safe.
Good answer in front of my mum. You
It's been a while.
you prefer sex without a condom?
Correct.
And can you notice a big difference as a female?
I don't think it's a big difference.
For a guy, it's a huge difference. It is, like this feeling.
I don't think it's
You don't
a
notice much
huge
difference?
No.
Raw?
No condom.
Big difference or little?
Okay, but it's a big difference, but don't be fucking everybody raw. That's not cute.
You heard it here, guys. Have you got 3 yeses for me? Yes, yes, yes?
Yeah.
That's bad.
A condom that actually works well for men.
Wait, say it again? Say it again. You got cut off in the beginning.
How come we don't have like technology yet to make these condoms feel better so we'll enjoy using them.
But I think that's
Viagra.
but I think that that's a myth, because like I said before this video came, I've had sex where I've had a condom and was able to have an orgasm. So if I've had orgasms with sex with back up. If I've had orgasms with condoms on, then that means that condoms are not disrupting the pleasure of the enjoyment of the act. I think that's something we make in ourselves. Like, I've heard guys say that they can't feel the intensity, or they can't feel the intensity of the woman's vagina with the condom on. Now, I'm not a man, so I don't know the difference.
Yeah, for us, I feel like it's not too much of a difference. I mean, better without, for feeling wise, but I think, like, you know, for women, it's not just an internal thing. Like, there's outside stuff that can get stimulated, and, you know, we can finish off that way. But for men, you know, I hear it is a huge difference, and they can't feel certain things. So that's why I'm like, how has there not been a condom where, I don't know, like, it still allows the moisture in.
A condom, like they do the throat spray to make gagging easier, right? Something to numb our throats so that we could have deeper gag reflections. So why haven't they made a condom that makes you feel good, like makes you jump, like vibrate, like maybe a vibrating condom or some shit like that? But I think that
more like the mask, you know, like we can breathe in and like breathe out, but like certain things can't come in, but we breathe out.
But at the end of the day, even if you did not have those things to make it better, what happens at the end of the day when it comes to your life and pregnancies? Like, why is it even a conversation that we're not protecting ourselves? I think that that's what's really blowing my mind on everything. You know what I'm saying? I think that I'm disappointed in society that we've taken so much lightness when it comes to our own life. Like, to me, I thought we lived in a world where it was self-preservation, and we lived in this selfish society that we cared more about ourselves than others. So how, in caring more about ourselves, we're not caring enough to not put our life in jeopardy? Like, at the end of the day, have you heard that saying that when you have sex with somebody, that you're having sex with all the people that they've had sex with?
Yes. Yeah, I remember that. Absolutely.
Do you believe that? Do you believe that to be true?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, you know, we're just like a part of this society that we like instant gratification, or we don't think bad things are going to happen to us. And that's just how we live now. Everything's fast, fast, fast. We don't want to be uncomfortable. We don't want to have weird conversations, you know, like, and I always think about, like, you know, so I have like a box of condoms like next to my bed. And so my partner was like, oh, do you have a condom? And if they see a box of condoms, are they thinking like, oh, this girl must be seeing a bunch of people, she needs a whole box of condoms? What? Like, there's like that too. So it's like, okay, so do I say I don't have any so that they don't think that I'm like being promiscuous? You know, it's like all these other like self-thought things that go on too.
And I'm telling you, I said that to the girls when I dropped them off at college. Because when I dropped Isha's off at school, my main thing with her roommates was, okay, do y'all have your own set of condoms? Like, when we went shopping for the apartment, now, I did not want to do this. But as a parent, I did not want the responsibility to be solely on the guys that my daughter and her roommates might happen to bring home. So I told them, like, I'm not advocating you guys to have sex, but I'm not going to be naive to you guys not having sex. So you need to have a box of condoms in your room, in your drawer, that if you guys bring boys back home or young men back home, that you have your own protection. And to me, that was also setting the tone that if 18, 19 years old, sexually active, if you start now having protection, that you'll be 40-something years old if you're still single, protecting yourself. So starting like early on. So maybe that's the lack of the comfortableness that people are feeling, but maybe they didn't start early on. So now when it comes to 30 and 40, they don't want to do something that they haven't already been in practicing of. So yes, I didn't want no boy or no guys thinking that my daughter and her girlfriends was a whore, that they were just out here fucking dudes and that's why they had condoms. But I felt like you also had to show that you're being responsible. Because to me, just like I look at a guy who's willing to have sex with me that I just met, and you don't know me, but I'm so fabulous, I'm so beautiful that my pussy ain't gonna kill you. So you'll fuck me without a condom, but not thinking about the 10, 15 dudes I fucked before you. You know what I'm saying? And all the women that they've been with. So you take it for granted that I'm just this wonderful, pure woman, and not thinking about my past or even the past of my past. And you're having unprotected sex with me because you feel like you can trust Kat. And maybe you can trust Kat. But then what do you have going on in your head if you came to my crib and I didn't have condoms? So yeah, on one end you could be thinking I'm loose, but then on another end you could be thinking that I don't care enough about myself to protect myself. So I think it's a catch-22. Either way you look at it.
Exactly. And that's what, I think society has really still has this impression that women are supposed to be pure. Even as 40, I'm supposed to be like, oh, this is the first penis I've ever seen in my life. Oh my God, right? Because nobody wants to think that I have seen somebody else's penis before.
So before we come to the wrap up of our show, what is our Jesus come to Jesus moment? What is our a moment of clarity, or a moment of this is what we can do going forward for ourselves and for our audience? Because I feel like I don't think we were judgy. I don't think I was telling you what it looked like or telling you what you should do, but I feel like I haven't really given you a well-rounded answer on the dangers of being so careless, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. I think we all need to work on our communication skills, really talk about, how we feel comfortable, have condoms. If you're male, female, non-binary, have condoms around, and just make it a regular thing. It's just a part of having, a candle burner in your house. Make condoms as convenient as can openers. That should be on a t-shirt. So I think we need to have this conversation more so we're not awkward about having it with our sexual partners, and and say I don't know who you've been with, just put this thing on and learn how to put it on your damn self, because I don't think I should have to do it for you.
So this is the part of the show where we ask all of you guys to like, follow, and share. We are a community-based show based off of the efforts and thoughts and love and support of you, the community. I said all of that jumbled up wrong because I'm so excited with this topic that we're talking about today, and I still have more to talk about, but we're at the end of the show, so I guess we'll have to have a part 2 of this conversation, because I really feel like, yes, it is directed to the youth, but there is something going on with the adults right now. There's a disconnect to this thing we're doing when it comes to fornication. So stay tuned. Stay tuned. I am your host, Miss Kitty Rose, Minister Kat, a.k.a. Kitty Rose, along with my co-host,
Melissa D.
And we are the next chapter where we discuss Shades of Grey. We'll be back next week. Stay tuned. Check your local listings. Until then, we appreciate you. Please be safe out there. We are the next chapter.
The city never sleeps. Slept from 1 to 5 when COVID hit the block and we had to stay inside. Tough love is all I know, so be gentle with my soul. Learn to navigate winters with no coat. If you never been cold, you never been broke. Hustle 24/7 just